JTrain podcast. It's JTrain Garrett Freid coming live from the West Village of Manhattan. We're here every Monday with your emails, your stories, your questions. I say it every episode. Let me say it again. Thank you. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you for telling a friend. Thank you. If you're listening going, I've never told a friend. I've never, shared this podcast. Well, you're taking advantage. Listen, people, let me thank you. Let me pre-thank you. Tell a friend, a coworker, a brother, a sister, a mama, a papa. I have been seeing at my shows, and it's such a pleasure to me, and it's the comic I want to be. If I see it in the shows used to be, it'd be like a bunch of women, which I loved, and I appreciated it, and I understood it. Now and then it started being women and their boyfriends. Okay, they'll bring the boyfriend, which I also was like, I love this. Now I'm seeing families. I think that is fantastic. It's quite a compliment. Thank you. You trust me to not be to be enough, but relatable to both your parents. And when I say bring a mama, a papa, a sister, a brother, I mean that. And also it is directed a lot of like the material I'm doing right now. I'm talking a lot. I'm doing about 20 minutes on my parents and the tries and tribs of, taking a family vacation because I'm close with them. I can't talk about anything I don't know. I wrote down a quote the other day. I don't know why. I'm getting old. This is telling me I'm old. I'll bring on my guest because I'm very excited for her to be here. First time on the show. Thank you so much. Hilarious comic. Sarah Ross, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. And also, we got to say, quick shout out, my friend Caitlin.
Okay.
She followed your advice. That's exactly how I found you.
Hold on. She followed my advice.
Yes, she was like, she told a friend. She told me. She's a huge fan of yours and like You Up Pod and all of it.
Thank you.
She is fully on the JTrain and she followed your advice. She told me, and that's how I found your comedy, reached out to you for the one show, how this all started.
Well, that's funny because you walked in, I was like, nice to meet you. Like, we've met before. And I run around like a chicken with his head cut off. And no, I appreciate it because I'm like, give it to me. Where did I meet? And then I've done your show. Mm-hmm. And you have this moment of like, yes, I do. We run around like idiots. I apologize. This is
no need.
But this is the New York City thing. You go from show to show to show, and you run in and out. And
you know me by my handle, not my name.
That is a very me thing. Where if I know your Instagram, I know where this person got and Sarah's Instagram at Hots Ross. We want you all to go follow Sarah. Fantastic comic. You just how many years in are you?
Couple 2-3 years in.
We were just going over this.
There was a weird break because of COVID,
which I can't imagine would be, and it really shows you like doing it.
Yeah.
To start, then have COVID happen, and you can't really.
And months didn't start. Not like I was established and doing great shows.
Right.
It was still very much open mics, and I was like, if you can do that outside, on a rooftop or a sidewalk or something, but then you want to keep going.
I was doing the good COVID shows. I can't imagine doing the bad COVID shows. Mine was on a rooftop and there were people there and they bought a ticket and I was like, ugh, this is what we got to do. I can't imagine because going to an open mic where it's a bunch of comics who are like, yeah, just stand up in that field and we'll all sit around like we're doing a campfire, it's
an empty parking lot. We're going to make it work. It's DIY in many ways, but
it's amazing. So, I'm happy you're here. That's so cool that your friend is a fan of the show. They got to be listening right now. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
Thank you for telling a friend. This is how it happens. You might tell a friend who might end up being a guest on the show.
Exactly.
And so I was looking for something.
Your quote.
My quote. Right. I'm an old man now. You're 27, young, fresh, hip. I'm old, loser, fucking asshole. I just read this quote and it had me connected to what I'm trying to do on stage and in this show. It's a Charlie Parker quote.
Okay.
Who is a saxophonist, I think. I'm sounding stupid right now trying to, if you don't live it, it won't come out your horn. And that's something for stand-up that's very applicable. If you don't live it, it's not going to sound great when you try and say it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about living, being friends with my family, but also knowing they're my parents and I'm annoyed by them. And it's kind of cool to see people in the crowd with their parents.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about family vacations, which is a little bit stand up. We know everyone's telling their struggles and, my lot in life, everything's horrible. And I'm I go on vacation with my family and they're paying.
Yeah, you're like, and let me tell you, I have takes.
Right. I have issues here. And it's like, to me, that's what stand-up's all about. Like, you go on stage, you give your perspective, whatever. So it's very cool to me that people are coming with their parents. And thank you. So I don't know, when does this come out, Shelby? We're getting ahead because I'm going to Europe. May 1st. So I am in Europe. I'm in Dublin as you listen right now.
Have you performed there before?
I performed in London, opening for Michelle Wolf. Michelle, before she taped her Netflix special, kind of did fan. She's the best. There's no one better. She did everywhere. Like, Michelle's like, no one goes on stage more. Like, and I could say enough nice things, but Michelle was like, I guess in London they don't normally have openers. So like,
oh, okay.
Right. They usually, I guess it's you come out and you can tell the audience is very polite. They'll give you the air to breathe in the room. When I go up in Oklahoma City where I just came from, what the fuck you say? It's like, okay, can I just do, the same person would be like, comedy's all about timing. And it's like, then let the timing fucking happen, so... London, and what we notice from the London comics, what I notice is that they're storytellers. They'll wait. Their punchlines may come a little bit later than, and you can feel that because the audience is like, let me hear the tale. Let me hear. And that Edinburgh at the Fringe Festival, like people do their 1-person shows there because it does feel to apply to the style of what's going on there. So so Michelle's like, they don't usually have openers, so they might not know what the fuck you're doing there. So I would go on stage and it was definitely interesting. Like, I was just such an American idiot. I was like, do you guys have mosquitoes here? Like, I asked that question. So so I have before. If you're listening now in the Dublin area, I have shows, and I'm also coming to Belfast, London. We added a 4th show. You get to hear my stupid American takes. I'm also coming to London, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Berlin, Oslo. I've said these dates so many times on this podcast that I hope you're not annoyed. Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston, New York, D.C., Kansas City, Nashville, Lexington, Kentucky, Charlotte, North Carolina. So jaredfreid.com for tickies, jaredfreid.com for tickies. Sarah Ross, you have a fantastic show that's in New York City.
Thank you.
It's called Stand Up, Sit Down. Explain the concept here.
Yeah, so Stand Up, Sit Down. It's a comedy show.
Yeah.
Where I have stand-ups come on, perform their set, then I join them on stage for a conversation.
What's what will you, are you hearing something in someone's set? Like, I would talk about my family on vacation. Would you be like, where did you go? Is that kind of how the conversation starts?
Yeah, so I try to do both. I mean, I leave a lot of room for the riffing of like whatever you talk about on stage. I want to be able to like bounce on. I like trying to explain it as like a somewhere between like late night talk show interview and like green room banter with comics.
Love it.
Like somewhere in there. Some of it's prepared. We've done like the last show I did, we played like a game with someone on stage. Like there's a few things like that, but I try to do some prep and like come up with questions, but a lot of it is riffing on what they just did.
I love this because you'd say here, and it's also at Club Cumming, which is Alan Cumming's showroom, and it's a 50-person room. So like, here's the thing. So many people, what do I do in New York? What do I do in New York? I do the same thing. And this is my pitch for a lot of people's shows that are like, this is East Village. Yeah. You're in New York City. You're doing something cool. So you got to follow Sarah Ross at Hots Ross, because I want you to go to the show and go, I did a cool thing in Manhattan. Like, like so many times, like if you're doing the same thing in New York that you would do in fucking Atlanta or, Boston or in Atlanta, these are major cities, but there's nothing like New York. You're not going to find these popping up everywhere. You're not going to get to see a cool show in a small, intimate venue.
It's downtown Manhattan. I mean, it's like quintessentially cool. If you're doing something down there, seeing live performance like in New York, that's exactly what you want to come for.
Absolutely. Because I can tell, like I did your show at the Red Room.
Yeah.
That's a room where everyone there feels like they're doing something.
Yeah.
And you can feel it. You can go, oh, they're happy. They're doing something different. It's not the same. Yeah, I went home and, had a glass of wine and watched Bravo. Like, those nights are good too. This is New York City. What night of the week do you usually do it on?
Typically on Wednesdays.
Wednesday. So if you like came in for the weekend and you're like, let's go a day early. Let's go to the Sarah Ross show. Like, I get excited to talk about these things because it's just like, I am a basic bitch. So like, I am the person that wishes they had done something different, but they like doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And I like safety. I like knowing what I'm getting into. And the things the most special things are the ones that you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Let me be the handhold you need to get you to Sarah Ross's show.
I would love it. And I like that the time we have on stage with the performer afterwards too, I really believe this is like podcasting, TikToks, all of it about being authentic. It's like the more you understand something, the more you appreciate it. Like I think it like really lends itself to like if you don't know who the performer is.
Right.
Like if it's a new comic, you've never seen them go up, then not only get to the set, but you also get to hear their like how they actually sound. You get to hear the wit because it's like in real time. We're like having a conversation.
And to go back to like starting comedy, some of the comics are up there, they don't know how they sound yet. So like you probably free up a comic to go, oh, I should talk. Just in the same way I'm talking about my family. Like I wish I had known to do that 5 years ago more. You know, like I wish the bits that were bombing about my parents, I worked on a little bit longer because, you know, it takes kind of time to go, you know what, I like talking about that. I don't care what the immediate reaction is. I'll get to the one I want.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a fun part about that show. So we want everyone to go follow Sarah Ross at HotsRoss on Instagram. You're a travel nurse, or you're a nurse who has done travel nurse work.
Yeah, I did travel nursing in the pandemic, and then at the end of 2021, I started the job I'm at, and I've been there since.
Well,
so
it's funny because I said to you before we start, we have so many travel nurses that like write in and like podcasts.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it. I guess it's got to be hard to date, so that makes sense that they would come into a dating podcast world. And also, it's got you probably got like some lonely time on the the road as a traveler. You're in a new town for an extended period of time.
And like, especially during the pandemic, the typical things you would do, like you couldn't do them anymore. Like the typical things you would do to go meet friends or like meet new people, you couldn't necessarily do them. Like it feels like a million years ago, but like when you couldn't go inside of a restaurant, like it was all outside or like, or
you couldn't sit at the bar, rub elbows with someone. Hey, where are you from? What are you guys doing? Oh, group of ladies at the bar. Oh, they look around my age. You couldn't really pick up those.
No, you couldn't even just order a drink. Certain places they were like, oh, you also have to order a food item. And like the rules were a little bit different everywhere you went. So like for me, like I travel nursed in Miami and in LA. And like, I remember in Miami, I was driving to work, like just towards death, like past a cheesecake factory full of people being like, incredible, like you guys have fun, meet me, like, so it was just a little bit different everywhere you went. And I also just really started to like having kind of conversation in your ear. Like just background noise, people talking, like that kind of thing of podcasting.
I mean, we say it on this podcast all the time, put your brain on the shelf. Like, let someone else take the wheel. I don't want to deal with like the thought that comes in like, did you do this today? It's like, no. Let Sarah and Jared chit-chat and take over the background noise. So let's get to the emails. You ready?
Yes.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com, JTrainPodcast@gmail.com, Sarah Ross at HotsRoss, Small City Dating Blues. So you might be able to help. Maybe they're in a small city dating, whatever. You've been in LA, Miami, New York, not exactly a small town.
The classic teeny tiny.
Papa JT, all the feathers. You're like the big bro I never knew I always needed. Here's the situation. I'm coming up on my 35th birthday. I've never felt better. I can confidently say that I'm fulfilled in all aspects of life, but there's a deficiency in my dating life. I've taken the past year off from after a bout of dating burnout, but I'm ready to put myself out there again. My issue is that I'm feeling stuck as the pickings are very slim within the dating app scene and in general in my small city. I re-downloaded Hinge and deleted it after about an hour. If swiping past the same old gang of townies wasn't bad enough, I was hit with "Hey Stranger" from the man who told me he didn't think we had a future, and that was the last straw. Friends and family are not particularly enthusiastic about introducing me to anyone, and I'm not into long distance. I can't really move. I just got a promotion and refinance my condo. I'm just not really meeting anyone. What am I to do? Sarah Ross. I love this email, by the way. Let me just start with this because this person is bringing up the issues that a lot of people can relate to. Are you in a relationship? Are you seeing anyone? What's your deal?
No, I'm single right now.
Okay.
I'm single. And I feel like I'm kind of coming out of a burnout phase as well. Mm-hmm. Like I'm just kind of getting back out there a little bit.
Okay. How have you gotten back out there?
So For me, I was out with like a big group of people, and we were waiting on a table at a restaurant. So we went to like another bar around the corner, and one of the people I was with was like, "Oh, I'm gonna text so and so. They're around the corner." They met up, and I met that guy, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" We had like a flirty little banter, like we just had like a little moment, and that's what we're all looking for. Like whether you're on the apps or whatever, like. You just want that little connection, that little, that's the excitement. And I was like, okay, it's as simple as this like mutual friend who I just hadn't met yet. Now, that's a little easier said than done in this situation. I mean, it is tough to feel like you are quote unquote out of options, but
here's what I'll say to this person. And I love everything you just said, because what you just said lived in the land of positivity. I'm out with friends. We're waiting for a restaurant to sit down. Like those are like undercover positive things you just said.
Yeah, you're
out. You're with friends. Great. Not once in that did you say none of my friends help too. This person's in the land of negativity.
So many. I was going to say that too. You have really checked. You've looked at every possible good option and said, nope, can't be that. Can't be that. Can't be that.
Some people just like living there because they're right. You know what? And Shelby, we're going to make this the video. Let me start with, because I can already say, hey, like, you know, you're dating, your city sucks for dating. You're right. All your friends don't want to help you find a new person. You're right. They got better things to do. You're right. You're right. Are you happy now? Are you? Now what are you going to do about it? This person's sitting in the rain saying, I'm so wet.
Yeah.
Get an umbrella, bitch. Right?
Yeah. Literally, it's like, it's always been hard. None of it's ever been particularly easy, but the attitude you have about it, like, will change so much. And also,
that's why your friends don't want to set up negative Nancy.
Yeah.
I'm not setting up the person that goes, oh, you downloaded the app for an hour and you deleted it. I don't want to hear from you. If I'm your friend in a relationship and you said I downloaded that for an hour, yeah, you're right. The guy who messaged you, hey, stranger, who didn't want a long-term relationship, yeah, he still doesn't want a long-term relationship. And he's saying, hey, stranger, because, hey, you liked my naked body before. Maybe you like it again. And now you know I don't want a long-term relationship. So I've told you what I'm looking for. You should be thankful. You should be looking at that guy. Thank you. I know exactly what you want. I won't go down that road.
And it's not what I want next. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That's the thing. This person, your attitude sucks. And I'm not saying I've agreed with everything you said.
Yeah.
Listen, my town's small. Well, name me a town where all these people are talking about how great the dating scene is.
Oh yeah, that's like
zero.
No, you can't find one. I have like a joke I use in every city, and I go, "Who's happy with your dating track record?" I hold the mic out, knowing nobody is going to clap. Like, not to break the fourth wall, but I'm like, every town, like every single place,
everywhere sucks for dating.
Yeah.
If you suck. I'm sorry to say it. I don't think you suck. I think you suck right now. I think you have everyone has retribution. Everyone can be in a sucky mood. Like, listen, I used to live with my younger brother. I would tell him, like, hey, I got this joke idea. And if he was in a bad mood, he'd be like, oh, fuck it. I'd be like, oh, this is not the right place for this.
Yeah.
Same with dating you. Like, everything you're saying, like, you got to how about this? How about you redo your profile? How about you write a new thing? And how about you understand that dating app is a piece of the pie?
So true.
It's not the whole thing.
There's a few things happening here too. With this kind of attitude, like, I just have to imagine you're also not the person who feels approachable at the bar.
Right.
I have to imagine with this kind of attitude, you're not the one who's like open body language or this and that. You sound pretty, like, you kind of sound like your mind is made up at this point.
This person needs to go out for dinner with their friends. That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
Friends and family are not particularly enthusiastic about you introducing me to anyone. No. They don't want you. They're your friends and family. They don't want you to be their responsibility. They don't want your dating life to be their problem. Hey, how about we go out? There's a great new bar in the area. Let's go get drinks. You're out. Now you're out. Last night, I was at a bar. A guy comes up to me. He goes, and he's got an accent. He goes, hey, man, how are you? And I go, I'm good. How are you? And he goes, I just burped by accident.
I respect you for not doing the accent.
No, I couldn't do the accent. That was a horrible burping moment. I'm sipping and talking at the same time. A lot of hot air out of me. and I didn't do the accent. I think he was from, I don't know. He goes, hey, man, how are you? And I go, I'm good. How are you? He goes, I'm not hitting on you. I have a bunch of girlfriends over there. They're looking across the bar. They think you're cute. Want to come over? What the fuck?
Oh, my gosh.
Holy shit. Wingman of the year.
What?
This guy, and you know what that is? And I looked over. It's just a bunch of blonde women. They were like, it was like a oasis. And I'm like, and I go, it was insane. And you know what? I'm sitting there with my drink. And listen, I was the negative Nancy. I'm sitting there alone, drink on the phone. I am not approachable. But this guy, whoever he is, likes his friends enough, is having fun with them. I'll be the tender that goes out from the cruise ship to pick people up.
Yes.
And that's what happens when you're out and you got to fuck a few drinks in you, and you got and the guy goes, I'll go talk to him, whatever. And it's like, that's a guy who likes his friends, who likes hanging with his friends. And it has nothing to do with me, or it has everything to do with their relationship.
Had a little bit to do with you.
Listen,
but
I bring the fire to the bar.
Agree. That's also like the perfect amount of like fun. Okay, you got a friend who's married. That's the perfect amount of fun for that friend to like go up,
right.
to like go up to a guy and be like, hey, like blah blah blah, I thought we were kids. Like
they get the action.
Exactly. And they get like kind of that spice. But you're not being like, hey, would you mind going through your book and just think about who would fit me, who would be right for me.
Who will love me?
Yeah.
Please bring me a husband.
And it's up to you. I've put you on the spot now. Like,
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
If you're at the bar, then there's no pressure on guy who has a girlfriend who goes, yeah, I'll go talk to that guy. What the fuck? And he's I think he's just like, I'm not hitting on you. Like, he has to like no homo me. Like, I was like,
you're like, all right,
okay, we don't need that. Like. Today's episode of the JTrain podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's easy to get so caught up in what other people need from you that you forget to take care of yourself. BetterHelp's online therapy gives you the time and space to focus on what you need. I love BetterHelp because it is a very easy toe into the water of therapy. You don't have to leave your house. You can do it on your time, your schedule. It's just a great way to get into the therapy game. Maybe you do more from here. Maybe you find someone that's close to you and you can go into an office and you like that environment better. But BetterHelp gives you a way to really try this out. BetterHelp's therapy is flexible, affordable, and completely online. Affordability is key here. You're not paying the rent for the waiting room. There's no waiting room. It's all online. No sterile doctor's offices here. Take care of your mental health from the comfort of your own home. If you need to change therapists, switch at any time, no extra charge. Give therapy a try so you can keep supporting the ones you love without leaving yourself behind. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JTrain today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JTrain, BetterHelp.com/JTrain. It's wedding season. Between buying gifts and making sure you're meeting the dress code, things can get pricey. With a custom-fitted suit from Indochino, you can look like $1 million without draining your bank account. Customize every detail of your suit, shirt, dinner jacket, and more in a range of awesome colors. You know what this is great for? Maybe you're dating someone who's really not into fashion, who's not into trying things on, who's not into going to the store and getting something new. Now you do this with them and you walk through the website, which is fantastic, and you get to kind of pick it out together, and it's going to be literally painted onto their body because it's going to fit perfectly because it's measured to all of their specifications. Every suit is made to your exact measurements. That's what I'm talking about. It's great. So you can create a suit that fits you and your style, customize the fabric, lapel shape, add a monogram, whatever you want. It actually makes you enjoy wearing the suit more. It makes you excited to get dressed up for the event when, one, you know it fits, two, you know it's made especially for you. Indochino also offers tuxes starting at $5.79. That's pretty good for a tux. Why rent a tux when you can buy one and now you don't have to keep spending money? A rental, that's paid off in two rentals. You're spending that much money. So check out Indochino's custom fitted shirts and casual wear for an entire personalized wardrobe that'll take you from casual Friday right into wedding weekend. I love it. You can buy the whole weekend and have it fit perfectly. Again, when it fits well, you feel well. RSVP knowing you've got the perfect look all wedding season long from Indochino. Go to Indochino.com, use code JTrain to get 10% off any purchase of $3.99 or more. That's INDOCHINO.com, promo code JTrain. JTrain podcast at gmail.com, JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Sarah Ross at Hots Ross. Go follow immediately. Stand up, sit down. That's the show. At Club Cummings. Go, go, go. We want you to be involved with something cool. Are we responding to our friend the wrong way? Now, this is I love these two emails. Shelby, our producer mastermind of this show, gave us both sides of the coin.
Oh.
Because now we're getting an email from the friend of misery. You ready?
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Not the same person,
okay,
but
yeah,
it could be.
But let's hear it.
Are we responding to our friend the wrong way? Hi, Jared and Co. I'm a big fan.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, we're okay. Listen, this is a live show, and then I just picked up a lint ball off the ground. You can see how disgusting my apartment is. Okay. Jared and Co., I'm a big fan, have been listening for years, subscribe to Patreon and all that jazz. Well, thank you. I have a Patreon if you want to get involved with that, $5 a month, 2 extra podcasts a week.
Hell yeah.
If you're listening right now, I just talked about Oklahoma City and meeting Rebel Wilson and meeting Jesse Metcalf. John Tucker Must Die,
heck yeah.
And Zach from The Bachelor. I met The Bachelor in 1 week. I met Rebel Wilson, Zach, The Bachelor, and Jesse Metcalf. And I went to Oklahoma City. I don't think anyone has that 4-pack.
I don't think so either.
In 1 week. So
if you subscribe for the Patreon.
Right. You get to be a part of that. So patreon.com/Jared Freid. So I talked about that and kind of what it was like to meet those people. And also I had some tough shows in Oklahoma City. So you can hear about that. So over the last couple of years, an issue has been building with one of my longtime friends that I'd love your perspective on. I'll call her Amy. Amy and I have been close friends for over 10 years and are part of a larger friend group, mixed genders, orientations, all ranging from 26 to 38 years old. We are 29 and 30. The bulk of us met in college, but we also have our significant others and some other friends we made along the way. Most, but not all, are in a long-term relationship. Many of the significant others have been around for 7+ years and are considered part of the core group. This sounds like a great group.
Yeah.
I get it. Right?
Yeah, this feels good. Adult friends, we're bringing people into the mix. Your significant others, if they're getting along.
Good to know. Back to Amy. She is a big wedding person and idolizes the whole process. Midway through college, she had her first and only boyfriend. They were together for several years and broke up sometime around 2018. After they broke up, she got on the apps, but for a variety of reasons, barely materialized any dates. Fast forward through the pandemic and a move to the city, she still has gone on only 3 dates. She has still only gone on dates with maybe 5 people. Never more than 3-ish dates, all despite the fact that she's smart, beautiful, funny, and has a lot going for her. The problem we now face is twofold, but I think one problem provides insight to the other. This is a great email.
Okay.
Also, I think this is great for the person who wrote in the first one to hear the other side. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yes.
She has a laundry list of reasons why she won't even consider talking to someone. She complains about how guys ghost her on the apps, how she can never meet anyone nice, etc. But she always has a reason for why she can't do anything other than the apps. She said that she's afraid of meeting people in the wild and acted like I was crazy for saying we could go to bars to try and meet someone or she should make friends with people living in her building. For her, the tables have turned to where meeting someone in the bar is bad and embarrassing, and finding someone on the apps is ideal because she can self-select guys based on her quote-unquote requirements. This tells the story so well. This email's so good. Right? Like,
yeah,
I understand what they're saying, and honestly, like, I know this type of person. I'm this type of person. I'd rather meet someone online. I can look at the menu. I can make sure it's good before I go.
Yes, and you can make sure that they agree before you approach them, or vice versa.
Right, and there's like little things in this email where I can understand your friend has a problem. Like the idea that she's like, I'm getting ghosted on apps. Like when you call someone stop talking to you on the apps, ghosting. You're making your problems bigger than they actually are.
Agreed. That doesn't count as ghosting to me.
To you. To me.
To most people.
To most people.
Okay.
And if you're calling it ghosting, you're signaling another issue you have. And that you kind of are bathing in it's easier for people to go, you're right, it's horrible, than for someone to go, that's not really ghosting. They just maybe they went on a date with someone else. Like,
Yeah.
You wouldn't call someone coming up to a bar and be like, "Hey, what's your name?" "Oh, I'm Sarah." "I'm Jared. Nice to meet you." Where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from Houston." I'm from Boston." "Cool. What are you doing tonight?" "I'm actually getting going. I gotta go. Nice to meet you. Goodbye." You wouldn't call that ghosting.
No, never.
But that's what's happening on the app.
Yes, and also, and so often, it's almost never to do with you. It's the person. They get sick of checking their own phone. Like there's a million reasons that they're not responding to you, but ghosting
puts
it makes it so personal too, and so
mean, as opposed to
exactly.
Guy took a break.
Yes, exactly.
Like the idea that every guy's like, well, enough with that bitch. That's why he's not talking to you.
No.
Right. 2, she has started using our friend's relationship status as a way of othering herself. She has told us on multiple occasions that she feels like an outcast or judged whenever she goes to hangouts, weddings, dinners, anything, because she does not have a boyfriend. Well, our close friends are all married. None of us are husband girls. We all have careers we are invested in, hobbies and friendships outside of our relationships, and have plenty of friends. Friends only get-togethers. That is to say, we don't talk excessively about our husbands. She said that if she could have another single friend at get-togethers, that she didn't want to go. That if she couldn't have a single friend at get-togethers, that she wouldn't want to go.
Oh.
Yeah, this person's a pain in the ass. We are now at the point where it feels like she's making her problem our fault. The first time she brought this up, my one friend and I reacted with anger and told her that no one judged her by her relationship status. We all socialized freely within our group, and that if she's going to choose to isolate herself because of that, then she was being ridiculous. Since then, I have tried many times to go out, to get her to go out with me solo, to branch out and meet other people. But she always has been, quote unquote, busy, or even feigned sickness the one time we got her to go out. We are now at the point where we are ignoring her commentary on her relationships, but it's incredibly frustrating. Several of us feel guilty / uncomfortable talking about our partners or even other people's relationships around Amy for fear of sending her spiraling. An acquaintance recently got engaged, and I had to think twice about telling her about it. Hey, this is sad. Is there a better way to approach this? Do we keep trying to get Amy to step out of her comfort zone or leave her be? Do we ignore her commentary on our lives, or do we draw a line and tell her to stop? I'm growing tired of walking on eggshells around her, but don't want to alienate her when I know she's struggling with her anxiety about her relationship status. I want to be a good friend to Amy, but don't want to minimize myself because of people's relationships are seemingly a trigger for her. So what do you think?
Yeah, man. Amy, you have such good friends. Like, imagine a friend who's taking all of this time to like think through this and be so gentle towards you and your feelings and write in and try to get help. But Amy, girl, this is a you thing. The minute people start hiding information from you because they're scared it's going to set you off, like they can't tell you about an engagement, like, no, this is something you have to. You have to take some ownership in like your own response to it too, though. Like, if you're really getting that worked up by hearing about other people, or like you can't exist in a space if you're the only one that's single there. Like that's really a you thing. You can't make other people change.
Can you imagine hanging out with this person?
That sounds like
it's exhausting.
Yes, it's a ridiculous request.
And sometimes people write in here and like, I'm like, this is a professional issue. Like, I'm not a therapist. And I know we're dealing with the friends, so like that's why they write in here. But like, this person needs therapy, needs a professional licensed therapist, because it is all like, it kind of like, even the email kind of like, like there's, when she says Amy, when she says that Amy is a big wedding person, like, the way she idolizes weddings, that's kind of like tells me everything. Mm-hmm. So she idolizes the weddings. So she doesn't try, because if any relationship ends, it's a failure. So she's like, to me, and I don't have a fucking license in anything. I'm just saying, when you open the email, be like, she says you idolize. Yeah,
it says that, and there's some balance here. I mean, I grew up in Texas. Of course, I always grew up thinking I was going to get married real young and like, things move a little faster there. But This is
big wedding person and idolizes the whole process. Like, that is your person. Like, this is the friend saying, this is the one thing I think of when I think of Amy.
Yeah.
So it makes total sense that she's going on not a lot of dates, that she's being very, tiptoey around those things because she doesn't want to fail at those things that she has made into a bigger thing than maybe most people have. And so what do the friends do? Like, I think what they, and it kind of goes back to like the miserable person where you go, you're right. I can't disagree with you. Dating sucks. It's hard. People are ghosting me on the app. So, okay, they're never going to disagree with you because it's more comfortable to not. To me, if I'm their friend, I would literally go to the thing that they're avoiding saying. You need therapy.
Yeah.
You have a problem that isn't just dating. You need to seek professional help. And that's hard to say to a friend. Like, I don't know how you say that.
Because the friend who wrote in is asking, what can I do? And if it were really an issue of like your friend's date, like they've already kind of done everything. They say, we have lives outside of this. We don't just talk about our husbands. We take her to these things. We have like, they've done more than enough.
They've put more energy into their friends' dating life than maybe they've put into their own.
Yeah.
And that's like crazy. And I'm using the word crazy because this person needs, and I don't mean it mean, they just need to go, like, their problem isn't the dating world. The problem is them. And I would say to them, like, hey, and I would stop every conversation that comes up with dating with them to be like, hey, maybe you go have dinner with them and go, I mean, I would never do this. I would never go, hey, you need professional help.
Yeah,
I'd back away from the friend. And they go, they don't want to isolate them, but like, there's a point where you have to you go, I've given my advice. I'm not even touching the subject with you.
Are you any good at like, if a conversation keeps coming up, like a friend who, like, this is a big one for girls. Like every time you're around, they're always like complaining about their weight or something that they don't like about themselves. And at some point you have to go, hey, I just can't even talk about that anymore.
I always do this on, I get DMs from people who listen. They ask for advice. And in the past I've given it, and now I direct them to Patreon because I'm just like, I don't have the time. I can't do this.
Yeah.
But what had happened in the past is they keep coming back with the same question. You answer them and be like, I think this guy just wants to have sex and doesn't want to date you or something like that. And then they would go, well, how about, and they try to come back with the same question from a different angle.
Yeah.
And I would always say, I've given my advice. And instead of, I can't do this, because I can do this. I did it.
Yeah.
I've given my advice. I think this person, I've given my advice. You should talk to a counselor because it sounds like it sounds like you have a real issue with this world that is hard. I'm not saying it's not, but we're all getting through it.
Yeah, because she's also like, oh, I can't meet somebody at a bar, and I can't meet somebody in my apartment complex. It has to be on the apps, and like, it's...
Right. Like,
that needs...
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Sarah Ross at Hots Ross. Go follow. Thruples and trivia problems. Okay. Jared Shelby, an esteemed guest. Feather. I saw both your shows and both your DC shows. Thank you. And your live taping. Oh my God, thank you. Okay. You kicked ass. I can't wait to hear your new material. Well, we're working on it. I am seeking your advice for a delicate situation involving my trivia team. Have you ever seen the show with Nathan Fielder?
No.
Fielder? I'm a huge fan of Nathan For You. You ever see that show?
No, but I haven't seen the show. Okay. I know what it is, but...
Nathan For You, he goes into these businesses, give them wacky ways to fix them.
Yeah.
Some of them end up being like fun ideas that actually kind of work. I get it. He did this thing, what was it called? The Rehearsal. I wasn't familiar that some people take trivia night very seriously. Like, just like we have our scene of stand-up, there's a trivia thing that some people are like, I got my team. We're very into it. We do this every week. Nathan Fielder, he went and the opening episode is him meeting with a guy who has an issue with someone in his trivia team. And so they create a rehearsal of how to go through his issue with the person who he's dealing with. Okay. So they rehearse like all the outcomes of like, hey, but the main reason I bring this up is you realize how important trivia night is to some people.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that. In my mind, it's
no
like
idea.
karaoke. It's like, oh, we might go do that randomly one night.
Right. No, some people have a team. They show up there, and it's very much a world.
Serious. Like when people have bands, they're like, well, they're in our band now. We might kick them out of the band.
Right. This is a band, very much a band situation. I'm seeking your advice for a delicate situation involving my trivia team. My boyfriend and I have played trivia regularly with a team for the past 3 years. So
okay,
it's a 3-year relationship. Right. That's the band. So there's a host and 2 co-hosts who assist him. So there's a host of the trivia night and 2 co-hosts.
Yeah, like they have a mic and probably they're all.
They have a mic and they run the show. Okay. So there's a host and 2 co-hosts who assist him. We have become friends with the host as well as one of the co-hosts. The other co-host is a frigid and unfriendly woman. This is relevant for later. Okay, frigid and unfriendly. What a way to describe someone.
Picture.
Right. The principal from Kindergarten Cop. I can just see that, face. Sometimes random people will join our team for a night or 2. Lately, one guy has repeatedly joined our team. He's kind of socially awkward, but overall he's a nice guy. Our main issue is that he cheats on some of the questions. Multiple times, we have been stumped by a question he will clearly not know the answer. He will either step away or even more blatantly look down at his phone for a few minutes and then magically come up with the answer and say something like he just remembered he heard it on the radio. If we ignore the suggestion, he will literally walk up to the person writing the answers and press them to use it. We feel uncomfortable because we are pretty competitive as a team and we don't like cheating to win. Yeah, that kind of ruins the whole night.
Yeah, the sanctity of the whole thing.
Right? Like, at that point, no one's going to play anymore if someone cheats.
Yeah.
It also makes us resent when he approaches to join our team. And at this point, he just walks up and seats himself rather than asking to join. Oh, so he knows he's comfy cozy with your team.
A few times.
We don't like playing with him, but there is a big problem. He is married to the frigid, unfriendly co-host, and is good friends. We are pretty sure they are in a throuple with the other co-host. This is incestuous.
Okay, no wonder he feels so brave, blatantly cheating.
We don't want to cause issues with our host or friend, but we really don't like his style of play. We appeal to you and your guests for advice. Thank you. This is a great email. Very tough situation. So they're friends with the host and the co-host, and then the third host is the frigid woman, and then the frigid woman's boyfriend is the one who's cheating, and then they claim that one of the co-hosts might be in a throuple with the frigid woman and the guy.
Yeah. Listen, I feel like throuple aside, we don't want this guy on the team.
Right.
Because this is a team of honor and we want to win fairly.
Right. And no, it ruins the night.
It ruins the night. And
right.
yeah, that's not what you guys have been doing this for 3 years the fun way. It's not fun if somebody's just looking at their phone.
And if he's claiming I'm not cheating, it's your word against his word.
Yes.
It's like, you're cheating. No, I'm not. Now what?
And yeah, what are you going to do? Tell on him?
Right.
Tattletale to his girlfriend and other girlfriend or whatever?
Or boyfriend. I don't know
whatever.
What's going on there. But like, but you know, like, I remember my grandmother, my grandmother came to one of my shows when I first started, and she used to bring nips. The little airplane
bottle. Okay, yeah, that's a New Englander phrase, I think.
New Englander phrase. Nips in New England is for the small airplane vodkas.
Yeah.
She used to bring them around with her purse, and she pour her own drink. Okay. And I was at the club, and I'm opening for Steve Sweeney, who's like a Boston legend. That's why I invited my grandmother, like whatever. And the owner of the club comes up to me and goes, "Jared, we just saw your grandmother pouring her own drinks. Can you say something to her?" And I'll never forget it. I went up to her. I go, "Nana, they saw you pouring. You got to stop." And she goes, "I don't know what they're talking about." And I'm like, okay, now I'm in a position where I have to go, "Nana, they saw," and she won't give in. And it's like, say uncle. Like, it's over.
We've caught you.
The jig is up.
It's not an unexpected. You're like, I've seen you do it before.
Right. And I said to her, I go, "I will buy your drinks for the rest of the night. Stop this." And she just wouldn't give in. And for this guy, if he doesn't give in, there's not really, the out I had is, I'll buy the drinks. Let me take away whatever you're doing. But then they don't really have an out, because it's like, you go, well, I guess now you're just on our team. And then you go, we don't want him on our team. Why? Well, he cheats. And he goes, no, I don't. And you go, now you've broken up your space where you do this trivia night. At that point, the trivia night's over.
Do you think that this is a thing where there's like a cap on how many people can be on your team? Like they need to...
Right, hey, we can't... I don't want
a few weeks in a row, they need to come fully...
Here's the thing. Lies aren't helped by more lies. You just have to... That creates a new issue. It's like, how do I... if you go, hey, we can't have any more, and they go, well, yeah, you can. And then you go...
Well, I guess I'm curious, like, they're on a team, they've been on this team for 3 years, and then he, every now and again,
I don't want him going to a new team.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want him doing that either.
Right. You start to fix your cat problem with a bobcat problem. Now we're going to fix the bobcat problem with a tiger problem. True. Right. Like, this is like,
you wind up.
Yeah, you're fucking yourself. Here's my solution to this issue. You said the tattletale thing. I always like, where's our soft spot? So they mention they're cool with the host and the co-host. Mm-hmm. The co-host who's a throuple with Frigid Fran and Cheaty Tom.
Yeah.
Okay. I go to my friend, the co-host, and I say, we saw the guy cheating. This guy cheats. We're sure of it. He looks at his phone. Even if he claims he doesn't, I mean, we just know he cheats. I want you to keep an eye on him.
Yes.
So now, if the co-host who's in charge catches him, now that's the person who's in charge. We will not accept. So you need to publicly shame this person out of it.
And they said he was pretty obvious about it.
Right. So you say to the co-host, I want you to keep an eye. Tell the co-host, the one you're friends with.
You just look out for it because we've been noticing it.
Right.
We've seen it happen.
So keep an eye on him. And if he's on our team, we want you to keep an eye on him. We don't like what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Okay? So you have that co-host, keep an eye. Now the co-host who's in the throuple, like, they are probably feel more comfortable calling them out than most people would. You do. Mm-hmm. Then you keep an eye on them, and they go, are you looking at your phone? And they'll you can't look at your phone.
Yeah, and they get to be the ones who, you don't have to really say it, they get to say it, really.
Right, and like at the Comedy Cellar, before they put your phone away and like lock them away, mm-hmm. they used to just have your phones. And when I hosted and a special guest would come, if you had like, Chris Rock, mm-hmm. you knew people just by nature, they go to tape, which is a human response in this day and age, whether you like that or not.
Yeah.
So I would go on stage and I would say, before I brought up Chris Rock or whoever the celebrity was, I would say, hey, everybody, just remember, I just want to make an announcement. You can't bring out your phones. Are we cool? And then they go, 2 people would clap and no one would be listening to me. And then I go, I just have to reiterate, if you pull out your phone, you will be kicked out. I go, I just want to hear you guys clap for that so that I've gotten that message across. Yes, it was a little awkward, but they clapped. Okay, I have signaled that I've heard phone out, kicked out.
Yeah.
Then I go, okay, every now and again, we got this very special guest at the Cellar. Tonight's one of those nights. Give it up for Chris Rock. And then he would come on. They'd forget what I said, but I put it into place. Mm-hmm. So I've set the expectation. So now they go crazy. And every single time, someone would pull their phone out. Yanked. Kicked out.
Yeah.
They can't say, I wasn't warned. No, you fucked up. Again, very human.
And we knew you would, which is why we set it up top.
So that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
The co-host, you need to tell people, remind people they can't look at their phones. And if you see them looking at their phones, you'll be kicked out of the game. So you have to have the co-host say that, set the expectation.
Yes.
Then they catch them. They keep an eye on them because you let them know, hey, this guy does this and it's getting annoying. And then they go, hey, Cheaty Tom, you're out.
There you go.
There it is.
Or if you say it up top like that, then maybe Cheaty Tom makes the good choice that game and plays the fun way.
Right. It's a setup.
Yeah.
It's a sting operation. You got to set this ass all up. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Sarah Ross at Hots Ross on Instagram. Go follow. Stand up, sit down. That's the show. Go. Such a great time. I love these little New York opportunities. That's what it's called. A New York opportunity. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Too many reveals? Okay. Papa JT, all the feathers to you. Thank you for continuing to put out content that brightens my work days, brightens up my work days and commutes. Here's my situation. My boyfriend and I, both 32, have been together for a year and a half. We met on Hinge, started off long distance-ish, about an hour and a half apart. But I've since moved and now live about 10-minute drive away. Things have been really great, and I'm really happy in our relationship. We've joked around vaguely about future plans, but haven't had a serious discussion about it. Uh-oh.
Okay.
When my lease is up later on this year, I would like for us to find a new place together. Also, I'd never really given much thought to the idea of getting married and having a family before I met him, but I am now realizing those are things I want with him as well. His stance on kids has fluctuated between I don't think I want kids and maybe I could have a kid. Uh-oh.
Okay.
In the time that we've known each other, which has made me nervous to bring up the topic again. I want to talk to him about these things and figure out a plan for how we get there. And following your advice, was thinking of doing a quote-unquote reveal.
Okay.
So the reveal, for anyone that's new to the show, is I think the talk is stupid.
Yeah.
The talk is a lot of like, what do you want? It's asking someone questions to the things that you're hoping they'll say.
Yeah.
The reveal is, in this person's scenario, hey, I see myself moving in with you when this lease ends. How do you feel about that? Or just, how do you feel about that? And then they have to go, I don't know. And they'll put it away and now it's been said. Or they go, I don't want to move in when your lease ends. Or they said, that's how I feel too. If they say, I don't know, and they put it away, I have the belief that most people don't want to sleep next to someone who has revealed something that they don't feel they could live up to. And they'll break up with you.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the options.
Yeah. So, wait, in this case, they haven't had that conversation
Well,
yet,
they're
though?
planning on having the reveal. I want to have a talk about these things and figure out a plan for how we get there. Was thinking of doing the reveal of all of the above. But is it that an overwhelming number of wants and revelations about how I'm feeling? So I understand what they're saying. They're going, it's not just a move, and it's do you want to have kids? It's do you want to get married?
It's married, yeah. There's a few things, yeah.
Is there another way to approach the topic? On the other hand, it doesn't make sense to only talk about moving in part for us to live together if our longer term plans don't align. Lastly, part of the reason I've been putting this off is because he's not as established in his career, and I think it would really need to step outside of his comfort zone to be ready for all this, especially financially. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but just based on past situationships, I don't want to come across as too demanding or overwhelming, but at the same time, don't want to settle and miss out on the future I'm looking for. I love this question.
Me too.
Very difficult. Sarah Ross, what do you think?
Yeah, this is tough, but also you have to start talking about it.
Right.
Because at 32, if you know you want to have a baby,
that's the thing you can't avoid.
You can't, yeah.
You can't avoid that you're 32.
And that sucks. I hate that, and I wish. And maybe maybe the answer isn't that you're going to have a baby right away. Maybe you are considering freezing eggs or doing this or that, but you have to start talking about it.
Right, and it's also like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So much of the age conversation gets kind of like drudged up in like some sort of opinion on when you should or shouldn't.
Yeah.
What she wrote is very important here. And listen, it doesn't sound right to some, and they can go fuck themselves. To be perfectly honest. Like, how this sounds has nothing to do with, it's your life.
Yeah.
You wrote, I'd never really given as much thought to the idea of getting married and having a family before I met him. Okay. So this is you saying, I like you so much that I want to start discussing what a future with you would be like. This isn't her saying, this is happening because she's so into this.
Yes.
And it's because she's enjoying it. And because she's like, oh, now I've liked this with you. I want this next phase of life to happen. That could happen at 25. That could happen at 35. That could happen at 45.
Good.
And so, that's why we don't want to tell someone, well, the baby clock.
I'm sorry.
No,
I guess I shouldn't
apologize.
but
I think what you said is perfect, because it's like, there's always someone like, we don't have to, and then you're like, you go, well, fuck you. This is this person. I feel this way. You can't tell someone how to feel. You're there.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's, and she says, well, he's not established in his career. Yeah. I think what she fears is like, these are all the latches he can pull to get out of this. Right? He can say,
before
career not ready, and, that's the kind of that's where the age thing comes in again, because the guy could do his whole life. I make the joke online. You're a 98-year-old man not ready for a relationship.
Yes. But one thing I like that you say a lot, I feel like when I listen to your podcast, is the I statements.
Right.
Right?
Right. That's the reveal.
And I think that's it. It's like, it's cool to think that at this point, things are going so well that she's excited about a future with him.
Right.
So much so that she's like, before I hadn't ever thought about planning for this or that, but now here we are. Now we've moved from being this far away to now we're only 10 minutes away.
Right.
Like, now there's a lease that's coming up. Like, the logistics of that are timing wise, a great opportunity for us to take this next step. Like, at some point you have to express that.
I don't think there's such a thing as too much when it's like you're living in that environment right
Yeah.
now. Like, the environment invites this conversation.
Yeah.
I would go to her or go to him and be like, hey, my lease is coming up. Here's how I want things to go. I'd like to move in together. I would also like to be on if I want to move in with someone that one day we're thinking about marriage and we're thinking about starting a family. How do you feel about that? And he will, but give him time. Give him time.
Yeah.
Listen, you said he might not be at maturity level. We don't know. But you're the same age. Have you thought about that? What is your plan? If it's no plan, that could turn you off a bit too.
Yeah, that is so true. Because you would hate for her to be like, I don't know, all of my thoughts and feelings about this institution have kind of changed just by our time together suddenly. And he's like, I haven't thought about it once.
Right.
That
would
barely
be a
crossed
lie.
my mind.
Right, but that would be a lie.
It would be. Things are going well, clearly. And his financial situation aside, moving in together or committing to each other is so different than, you don't have to do all of them at once.
That is
moving in together, getting married, having a baby.
I would say it's not that different to him, because
Really? Well,
that's all my thoughts go to. But I guess I've had that where I'm like, oh my God, I'm not ready. I want to be able to put time. So, there's people in my past where I look at, you see their Instagram life that we dated once, and I look back and I'm like, yeah, I could have dated them. I think I could have been buckled down. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, would I have done what I'm doing now? Where would I be still in stand-up if I had buckled down with them then? Would I have been told, hey, the dream's over. We need to start moving towards this. We need to start moving towards that. Would the person be supportive of that, or would I have to face reality with them because
compromised? Yeah,
of a compromise,
ways.
right? So, career does work into that. I was thinking about someone the other day. I was like, I could have ended up with them, and then I was like, but I don't think I would have been doing what I'm doing now. I wouldn't be. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't think I would be. So, I don't know. It is going to work into his thought, but I also know that you can do one thing before the other. It can be, we should move in, and then it goes, okay, well, how much do we want to put towards rent a month? But I've done this thing where I'll say I've been on the other side of this, where I moved in with someone and I was like, yeah, let's see how this goes. And I don't think I would do the same thing today. So I would say,
if you couldn't see the commitment beyond moving in, you're like, I don't think I would do that. And then let's see once we're together how we like that. If I could see myself getting married to this be my day-to-day life.
Right. And I did see it back then. And then you get into it and you don't see it in it. And that was hard. It's hard. Because I don't think it wasn't let's see as much as I like that future, and that's a possibility of an outcome that could come from this too. But I think she's got to you're going to end up resenting the guy from holding you back from life if you don't let him know what you feel.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah. And also if this deadline is coming up, you have to make a decision one way or the other, whether you're going to re-sign your lease.
Right. And listen, an option is I'm not ready to move in. But maybe in 6 months I could feel better about that. And maybe you opt for that. I don't know. This is hard. I don't think there's such a thing as too many reveals. I don't think it's such a crazy thing to say to your 32-year-old boyfriend.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, I love you. I want to move in with you. I want to have babies with you. I want to get married with you. I want these things to happen for me. How do you feel about that? I don't think that's crazy. He would be crazy for going, what? Yeah, you're thinking about these things?
Yeah, those are on your mind?
Right.
Yeah, they're not. I agree. Yeah, that's so different than, it'd be a reveal to move to another country or join the circus or something. But like 32, I've been sort of thinking about maybe commitment.
He's
in
a
marriage.
man living in America,
yeah,
dating a woman who, it's not like these aren't two different cultures. Like
Yes.
it is normal for someone in a relationship at 32 to go, I'm thinking of these things.
And he is too on some degree. And if his thought is, oh, yeah, when I think about it, that is not for me. I'm not ready. I see that years away, this or that, then maybe you guys aren't on the same page. But you don't have that conversation until you do.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Sarah Ross at Hots Ross. Hots Ross?
Hots Ross. Yeah, Sross. Sarah Ross became Sross.
Sross?
Yeah, kind of like hot sauce, hot Sross. Lost in the Sross.
Oh, Hots Ross.
Yeah.
Now I'm reading it as Hots. I don't know how I read it.
Hots Ross.
Hots Ross. Oh, now it's like
Makes
it's
a little
singing.
more spicy sense. Yes.
Need advice, pain in the ass in class. Jared, thanks so much for all you do. My boyfriend and I are living abroad right now, but we are from Boston. Listening to your podcast together makes us feel like we're back at home. Well, thank you. Here's where I need your advice. I'm in grad school, and last semester there was a girl in one of my classes who took a strong liking towards me. It was a very small class. No one really talked, but she would always sit next to me, give me snacks, talk to me during class, and even pass me notes. It drove me nuts. I'm 28 and way too old to be talking and passing notes in class when I just want to pass these classes and move on with my career. It is funny that, like, in high school, you're like, we have to be here. In grad school, it's like, no, I want to be here to get to where
I'm taking this seriously.
Right. And I don't blame them. Like,
yeah, I'm paying money for this.
Right. My boyfriend and I also see this girl around campus quite a bit, and she's always overly eager to talk to us, even in inappropriate situations, like when we're studying in the quiet section of the library. Okay. You guys see the thing. This is funny because, like, you guys could be at the same place seeing it as a road to very different things. Right? Like, two people could be in law school, and one is there to, like, get their parents off their back, and one is there because they want to be a lawyer.
Yes, exactly.
So this to me is interesting because, like, the grad school thing, you're like, well, isn't everyone here to, like, get to the next part of their career? It's like, no.
Yeah, not everybody is.
No.
Especially out of the country. I'm curious.
Right. I mean, like, even comedy, like, you'd go to an open mic when you first start. Someone's just there to yell into a mic because they don't want to pay for a therapist.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Some people have this little creative outlet that they're like, I've been going to this one open mic at this one bar on my corner every couple of weeks when I feel like it for the last 3 years versus a 22-year-old NYU grad who's like, I'm hitting 6 open mics tonight and this is one of the 3. And,
I'm getting to SNL.
Yeah.
And I don't care who I'm stepping on to get there.
Exactly.
Right. This is the same for grad school.
Yeah.
This semester, I'm in another class with her, and it's a large lecture. Of course, during the first lecture, she sat right next to me and kept talking through the lecture. Even when I tried to ignore her, she kept staring at my computer screen and making comments about things that I was looking up. Today was our second lecture, and when I walked in the lecture hall, I saw her sitting in the second row. So I tried to not make eye contact and walk to the back. She flagged me down, so I had to sit next to her. To make matters worse, we have made a new quote-unquote friend who has terrible BO and sits on the other side of me. Hey.
Oh, no.
So, Jared, how should I deal with this? I have so much trouble paying attention in class, and she's constantly talking to me. Plus, I want my professors to take me seriously because I want to work in this field and may need their recommendations later on, so I don't want them to think that I'm not paying attention during their lectures. I could just stop going entirely and watch the classes on Zoom. No. But again, I care about this professor's opinion, and I struggle to learn when I'm not sitting in a lecture hall. Should I just wait and see if she stops going to the class as the semester progresses? What would you do in this situation? Thanks for all your help. Sincerely, stuck between Chatty and Stinky. What do you think?
No, you don't want to. You're not going to go from home. You're going to show up. This is a matter of you actually do take it seriously, and this other person maybe isn't as focused as you. It's distracting. It's disruptive. I mean, you need to. I'm curious if this is maybe too simple because it's been going on, but is it as simple as like, I'm just like, I think I'm going to either sit in the back or sit in the front and like focus up, like today I need to move, I'm going to sit somewhere different. Like, is this an assigned seating thing? Like, can you physically just move yourself, or is that too simplistic?
It's a little simple. Yes, I think you're right. I think they need to get away from this person. I think they need to take, this person doesn't have the awareness. Again,
Yeah.
I'm here because I want to work in this profession. This person thinks that everyone's there for the same reason as them. You think everyone's there for the same reason as you.
Yeah.
That person thinks, everyone thinks they think of things the right way, and everyone else is crazy. So like this person who's chit-chatty is like, we're all here to like go to grad school and fuck it, we'll see what happens. Like, you have a very different view on grad school, okay?
Yeah.
I think they're wrong, but who cares? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
What I would do, I would send them a text. I would say, hey, I think you're great. I would love to hang out outside of, don't even say that. You don't even have to offer that.
Yeah.
Hey, I think you're great, but our learning styles might be different. I cannot sit next to someone I know in a lecture. I get too distracted. I know I hope you don't take it personally, but I have to sit in another part of the class.
Yeah.
Just say that and make it you. I can't learn in lecture when I'm near someone I know.
Yes.
Anyone I know.
It's me. I get distracted.
Right.
I have to set my own, blinders, my own boundaries,
Right.
because for me, that's what's best. And the truth is, if you're paying for school, this is about you.
Right.
Because this is about the career you're going to have from this for the rest of your life.
Well, and then you put them in a position to be an asshole. If they go, what? Let's bring this to the jury.
Yeah.
If they went to the jury and was like, can you believe they don't want to sit next to me because they don't learn well when they sit next to someone they know?
Yeah, exactly.
They're wrong. Now you've put them in, you need to box them into a corner of being wrong no matter what. If the only way to be right is to agree with you.
Yeah, and the truth is your styles just don't match.
Right.
And they seem to have another friend who maybe their style works with BO,
Yeah.
baby, even better.
Them and Stinky can hang out.
Yeah, them and
Yeah.
Stinky can sit together and...
I think this is an easy solution because, listen, also, you don't need them.
Yeah.
You don't need them as a friend. You don't need them as they're looking for a social friend via grad school. And it's like, you're not there for friends. And if you happen to make a friend, that's great.
Yeah, I'm trying something different. I think this is going to help me stay more focused in class.
Even to say I'm having trouble in class.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I can't sit next to people I know in the lectures. If you don't mind, I hope this doesn't offend you, but I have to sit at the back of the room away from people I know.
I'm going to be doing that. I don't want you to have questions as to why I'm not sitting near you.
Right. And you're never going to be wrong because they're going to go, it's not like you're going to move to another part of the class and be like hanging out, laughing with someone else. You're going to be doing the class.
You're not going to change your style. It's not this person. It's you're taking it seriously.
Right. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. We're going to do one more.
Okay.
Sarah, you're fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, this has been awesome. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Everyone go follow Sarah Ross @HotsRoss. Go. Follow. How to deal with chronically late friends. Are you a late person? Or are you an early person? Or are you an on-time person?
I was just going to say, I feel like I am someone who is, I'm on time. And I take it personally when people are late.
It's good.
In a way that I need to work on it in the opposite direction.
I'm an on-time person to the minute, which makes it so I'm late sometimes.
Oh, it's just circumstantially. If something happens, the Uber, the this, the that.
Right. But
Okay.
I'm not giving myself... If you're 10 minutes, if you're not 10 minutes early, you're late. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I will be there on the minute that I need to be there. And I'm going to, so that will turn into, hey, I'm sorry, I'm running 2 minutes late. I would say that it's unusual, but it has happened. 15 minutes, but 20 minutes, I'd be freaking the fuck out.
Me too. Okay, and if I'm the one that's late, I get so anxious and like so panicky about it, and I'm like texting and apologizing. I think really on either side too, the approach you have to it is different.
Right.
I feel this way about like a date, like one of your first dates. If someone's
Right.
late, if they're texting you minute to minute updates and they like are concerned and they're like, "I'm so sorry, this never happens." Like you don't need to take it as
Right. I've been late
character
to a date.
assessment.
I was late to a date once and I hit a ton of traffic and they were really not happy about it. Like it was really not taken well. And I was like, that kind of made me like annoyed at them. Like I am late. I'm sorry. I don't know what I can do. I got behind a garbage truck in the city, which if you live in New York City, you know that's like the end.
Forget it. And they decide the rules. But it is different too if you show up, like either acknowledge it, explain what happened, apologize, keep them updated versus someone who just strolls in.
I hate, yeah. Just acknowledge it.
Just acknowledge
let's go to
it.
the email. Jared, an esteemed guest, Feather. I'm writing to ask for your advice about how to deal with friends who are always late to things. Now, I am no stickler for punctuality. I myself occasionally run 10 minutes late or so when it's not something with a hard start time. But I have a whole friend group of people who just cannot get anywhere near on time, like up to an hour late. And because it's the whole friend group, I am often the first one to a place, have to take responsibility of finding a table, etc. Then I end up sitting at this big table for 8 people by myself for like 20 minutes. I think they all think that individually or as a couple, being late won't be an issue, but when everyone is collectively thinking that, I am the only one left. The worst part is that they're terrible at communicating. Will not answer my texts or calls when I ask how far out they are. If they do respond, they usually underestimate how long it will take them to get there. Even worse, sometimes they decide to bring their dogs, but won't answer me when I ask if they have their dog with them this time, which obviously affects where we can sit in most settings. I'm just really fed up with always being the one who seemingly cares enough to show up on time. It really feels disrespectful of my time. I have skipped workouts and have even gone out with wet hair because I didn't blow dry it to make sure I was on time. If I can make these small sacrifices, why can't they? These are friends I have had for almost 10 years, but it's gotten progressively worse and is starting to affect my relationship with them. What should I do? Address it with them? Just stop making as much of an effort? Help a girl out, please. Thanks and cheers. A fashionably on time Betch. What do we think?
Oh my goodness. Okay, well,
this sucks.
This sucks. To be an hour. First of all, where are they that they're like they may bring their dog, they may not.
Right.
I'm like Colorado, Austin, or something.
Right. What world are they living in?
In New York, if you're a party of 8, they won't seat you at some places unless all 8 of you are there.
Right.
You can't like reserve a table as people stroll in. An hour is pretty ridiculous, no matter what.
Well, I would send, first of all, I would send all of them this podcast.
Me too.
You're being fucking rude.
You're being rude.
You're being rude.
Let
me send them this podcast. Go, hey, go to this part of the podcast. I wrote this email about you guys.
Yes.
And let them know how much this is annoying you. That you're the one that's got to be the table holder. That you're the one that's making them have the night. And here's where it's all annoying to me. This is encouraged by meme culture. Because now I've seen this TikTok 1,000 times. It's not creative. It's not funny. It's stupid. And I see it and everyone makes it because they know it will pop off. It's the person texting, I'll be there in a minute, and they're in bed while saying that. And everyone thinks, oh, yeah, that's me. And now it's encouraged because now it's okay because we all do it. No, someone, while you're saying I'll be there in 10 minutes, is sitting at a table alone, having to hold down the fort. And the biggest problem is the communication.
Yeah.
You don't text someone, hey, I'm going to be an hour late. Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm bringing my dog just to let everyone know. Like,
you can feel on the other end of it like your time isn't valuable, or that your friends look at you like, oh, like, that's Sarah. She'll just do it.
Right.
She'll just sit there. Like,
that's what. No, some people think because you do it, you like to do it. No, I do it because I'm being respectful of the other people in the group. My advice, send this. You hear 2 people saying this group are pieces of shit.
If you got this podcast sent to you,
right,
fix your behavior.
Right. This is your message.
Take a look in the mirror.
Right.
Really.
It's time. You take a look in the mirror. You look ugly.
It's not good.
You're an ugly friend. It's not a good look. We're not fun. It's not funny. And that's the thing. They all think that's just me. Well, you are rude. You don't care about your friend. You are an asshole.
Think of how many people, if there's 8 of you at a place that people could potentially bring dogs. I'm picturing like a beer garden or something.
Right.
Imagine how many people came up to your friend that time. You using these? Anybody sitting here? And
someone's here.
Someone's here. Oh,
someone's
I'm waiting. They're on their way.
That's my earring over there that's holding the seat.
You're like embarrassed in front of the server. Come on, be a good friend, especially not alone.
You're fucking the server too.
Yes.
Hey, friend of the person. You have taken away money from service workers. That's what you're doing. You are taking away money from someone who is working a service job that could have had another table during the hour that you were late. That's what you're doing. Send this to if you're the friend who gets there on time. Send this to your late friends. Let them know, because we're 2 people who we don't know your group. I don't give a shit.
No,
I'm just saying you're an asshole. No apology. No, hey, I'll be an hour late. Maybe you guys shouldn't sit yet.
An hour is insane. That deserves an update. I mean,
Not answering? You're not answering texts because, like, to not answer texts is just...
At what point do you go home? Okay, if you're meeting up with 6 or 8 of your friends, you're there, you've been there for half an hour, you're looking at the group chat, you know you said we're meeting at 3, it's 3:30, no one's texting you back.
Well, this is the problem is this is probably this young woman is probably early 20s, maybe 27. Probably everyone's single or in relationships. None of them have kids. So, like, the problem is it's like, I'm an hour early to get fucked up today. You know, like this is like, that's the problem they have is like, it seems frivolous. Like, you don't have a baby to get to. This isn't your one night out. And if it is, they're really rude. But this sounds like, listen, if you have 8 friends, you probably don't have kids.
No,
you're
in your 20s. There's 8 of you.
You're in 20s. So the idea, because they're going, well, we're just doing a day, we're just doing unlimited mimosas, beers in the beer garden. Yes. What is the problem? We all have all the time in the world. And it's like, that doesn't mean you're not being rude. Like, that's why they're taking advantage of this time. They don't think there's this.
It's just not considerate. And it's tough because then the friend who plans everything doesn't want to plan it anymore because they don't feel appreciated. It feels thankless. Here's
the ghost of old guy future. You will not be friends because of this. This will be the reason the group breaks up. I'm telling you right now, if this friend that you send this to is still listening, you will not be friends in your 30s. Because in your 30s, you go, well, they're always late, so I'm not going to invite them. Oh, they're an on-time person. Now I'll hang with that person because I've got a kid and I got a sitter and I don't want to have to waste an hour of my sitter time without, waiting at a table alone. And it's like, so the ghost of old guy future, I'm here. I'm telling you.
It catches up.
You will not be friends if this keeps going. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Sarah Ross, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me on.
Everyone go follow Sarah at Hots Ross. Hots Ross. Now you got to say it that way.
You got it now though.
Hots Ross. Go follow the show. Stand up, sit down. It is at Club Coming.
Yes, it's a monthly show. We're doing, I think our April show's the 19th, but I think this comes out after that.
I'll come do it if you.
I would love to have you on.
I would love to come on. So
please do.
Everyone go follow Sarah Ross. I'm Jared Freid. We're here every Monday. Keep sending your emails. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Back next week. Boom.